welcome back to Truth and Transparency. What is good? It is Monday, September 15th, all day today. Thank you, moderators, subscribers, members, lurkers. Thank you for being here. You can be anywhere to get your facts, and you choose to be here. First of all, this video will just be bringing the information. And then tonight's live is going to be a huge debate on this timeline because I am going to expose the fuck out of it. I don't care what somebody writes in a report. I don't care what someone says. I care what I can see, okay, what I can hear. And just because somebody says something does not make it true. With that said, as everybody knows, Mark B has been working on a lot of things when it comes to the identification of the car, timing. A lot of time has been put into this. We exposed it before that we said that the 420 getaway car, okay, the car that's living on the camera, that car did not come from the back. It did not, okay? I want to remind everybody that back in December of 2022, on the 7th and on the 9th, the 7th is when they put out, hey, can you help us find this vehicle? Or, hey, do you have any information on this vehicle? All right. The person or persons in the vehicle are critical and have critical information. Okay. Then it went silent. Well, what's December 10th? Think about this timeline. So you can find Mark B right here. Mark B, go subscribe, click it, and then that's all you have to do. So I wanted to show you guys how to do that. So don't worry, Mark. I unsubscribed and then just resubscribed. Mark is a very, very good man. We're all out here for the same reasons, at least with this channel. It's truth and transparency, and exposing bad policing is important. But when you don't have trials, things can't be exposed. And that's what happened in this situation. Is there was a plea deal right before we're supposed to go to trial. Why? Well, because of how they put this case all together. But here for this episode.
Hello, YouTubers. Today we're going to be showing evidence of the 42047 car exiting, that it was actually parked in front of 1122 and had a driver in waiting for a passenger. And this will be based off the reflections on the 1119 house, which is right here. And there's going to be reflections on the first floor, floor 1, floor 2, and floor 3. As soon as the 1112 video came out from 3:30 to 4:30, I started notating all the reflections on all 3 floors of 1119. Here's car 1 entering. Some notations: floor 1, 3:30:01 to 03, 2 seconds when it's first seen entering on the cam. And then at 3:30:29, it's actually seen entering on Queen. As it's going up towards the 13:30 Linda Lane cam, floor 2 windows start to light up, show reflections right here. It's seen on 13:30 cam at 3:30:55. And then it's 22 seconds to lights seen on 1127. That's the reflection lights. And right here, you got floor 3 window reflections on 1119. Right here is where you see the lights are on 1127 from 3:31:17 to 22 seconds. That's a total of 6 seconds. And then right here, 1 minute and 37 seconds to exit. So all the stuff was notated. Right here, floor 3, you'll notice 3:32:48 to 50. Right here is the 48 seconds. I actually broke it down by frame. 48 has 25 frames. It's frame 11. I do that, as you'll see shortly. 50 was the 19th frame, and it has 33 frames. Here's all the notations, but the most important ones we're going to be working with are floor 3 and bushes. Here's floor 2 space, and then right window, that's as it's exiting, and 3:32:59, headlight seen exiting. And I'll show that to you also. Here's the car after exit, southbound Walenta, 37 seconds after it was first seen on 1112 camera. And here's the breakdown of when it was passing 1127, which was a total of 4 seconds. And there's the person exits right door at 1119. And that was right here is the time frame, 24 seconds. All 1119 window light reflections are noted on entry and exits of vehicles below.
So in like a court case, and this was in trial, this would be somebody explaining their methodology on how they did this. So this is how it would come out actually in court to talk about how you determined X, Y, and Z, and how these experts would be testifying to their opinion.
Light reflections from 1127 and 1107 also noted. So all vehicles covered were the 330 entering and leaving, 338, 356, 404, 407 returning after 3-point turn on King Road, Molly Subaru entering and leaving, 353 car leaving, 423 SUV leaving, and 429 SUV entering. Car 1 exits at 332.59. Floor 3 right window, so it was lit up for 2.2 seconds. When floor 3 light reflection disappears on the window, which is 332.50 and 19 frames of 33, to when the bushes across Queen Road light up, 332.51 third frame of 30 frames. That's a half a second. These will be the key time frames we're going to be working with. Now let's look at the videos. The first thing we have to do is establish when floor 3 right window reflection ends. So right here, we got the 406.08 car. After it did its 3-point turn in the back parking lot on 1330 cam, it's now going to be leaving. And at 406.08, we'll see a reflection here. And that'll last about 14 seconds. The end of it is going to be the most important thing that we're working with. What about now?
See all that stuff like that. Okay.
We're going to keep going until these bushes light up, right about there.
In other people's videos, they want to talk about, oh, this is people turning lights on and yada, yada, yada. No. Okay. This is reflecting off of the taillights as well as the headlights at different times, depending if the car is coming and going. The other main point is that when you're looking over here to the right-hand side, it is in the grassy area, which he refers to as the bushes down to the right. As you can see right here.
We're going to keep going until
it lights up.
These bushes light up, right about there. Well, we'll go a little further until we see the headlight. We're right there. It's almost there. There it is. Let me back it up a little bit. So that's where I clock in right there, which is 406.32. So here's car 4, first exit, which was the one we just looked at. 406.31 was when we saw the headlight right here. Car 4, first exit, headlight seen on 1112 cam before King Road 3-point turn at 406.31. So right here, floor 3, right window, that was on for approximately 14 seconds, but I'm only showing the last 2 seconds here, which are the important ones, because it's actually the very, very end that's the most critical. 406.20 to 22, right here, 22, third window. Then we go right here to the bushes across Queen Road, light up at 406.23. That is 1.2 seconds after the end of floor 3 light reflection going off, which is also the beginning of when the bushes light up, 1.2 seconds later. And I'm going to show you the other cars in relation to that. I had to establish where the third floor light came on, the actual location. Car 1, it leaves at 332.59. And floor 3 light reflection ends at 332.50 and 19 frames. Then it goes dark until the bushes begin to light up across from Queen Road from the camera at 332.51 seconds, third frame. The difference between these two numbers is a half a second. It's almost imperceptible. So let's go down the rest of the list. Here's car 2 at 340.25. So the light on floor 3 window goes out at 340.14 and the 19th frame right here. And then the bushes begin lighting up at 340.15 and 14th frame, which is 0.9 seconds of dark in between. So this floor 3 window is a key player. Let's go to car number 3 right here. Leaves at 358.23. And at 358.13 and 25 frames, it goes dark. Then the bushes light up at 358.14 and 16 frames. Difference between that number and that number is 0.6 seconds. Now we've already checked out car 4, which is the one that left from the 1330 cam. But here's the numbers again, 406.22, 3 frames. Then the bushes light up, 406.23, 13 frames, 1.2 seconds in between. Then we'll go to Molly's car because she actually comes down and parks in front of 1122 King Road at about 3:58 a.m. the floor 3 headlight reflection ends at 358.01 and 26 frames. And the 01, by the way, has 33 frames in it, as you can see here. And then the bushes begin to light up at 358.02 and 13 frames. And the 02 has 24 frames. So the difference between these numbers is 0.8 seconds. And right here, when Molly finally leaves at 4 o'clock and 41 seconds, and there's no floor 3 light reflection. And that's because she's leaving from 1122, which is right below.
Pavarotti got it from Mark.
West of where you can see the light reflections when the cars.
We've been doing this for months.
Headlights are coming through.
Pavarotti.
It only happens in a small area, and I'll show that to you in just a second. But that's
we all work together.
Thing right here that helps set the stage. This one here, and also this one here that came from the 1330 cam. That really helps set the stage. That last 1 second of the floor 3 window reflecting and going off. That let me know where that light was being picked up on these other cars right here. As most of you know, the 406 car left back in this area here off the 1330 cam and came west down along these apartments. And then here's 1122. The third floor light that we've been talking about is right in this area here, above the entrance to 1122 or right at the edge. So someplace right where the cars can come down between 1122 and the apartments. Where they take a left, that's where the floor 3 window light is reflecting from this area here when it gets right here and not below here. This window right here, the reflections here, those reflections will be coming on after the 48-second mark. And when that window reflection goes off, I'll hold the camera right about here so you can see the window timestamp, and especially these bushes right here. This is what you're going to want to watch for. When this window goes off, it will be literally a half a second before you'll see the beginning of the lighting from the headlights coming down the road right here. And they'll get brighter. Okay, so I've got it set.
The question is if you don't think the FBI and the police knew this, okay, and would be breaking stuff down like this is what they do, then you're wrong. So the question should be asked is, why did the FBI and the police need to say that the vehicle parked up top when it in fact did not? Think about it.
Seconds in advance, so the screen will clear up in about 3 seconds. Here we go. Now the windows on floor 2, you'll notice them, but basically for this, what I'm trying to put out, let's just ignore these. These are not important for the time frame between here and the brush. So let's do that one more time. Here we go. So watch this top window, and right about the 48-second marker.
There
it is. Now watch right here.
There.
Now it looks like it takes time for those lights to actually come on, and I'll show you something here. Okay, so watch right here. I'm going to put the headlight of the car right there. There it is. There's a headlight. That's where I clock in between. I'm timing everything from the reflection in this top window here, when the light first shows up early on, right here in the brush, and then when the headlight shows up right there. And you'll see what I'm talking about once we get to the 4:20 a.m. car escaping. Okay, let's go to car number 2. Car number 2, again, there's the third floor window. Here's the bushes. And this is going to happen at 3:40 and 14 seconds. So here we go. Watch this top floor window right here. And there's the bushes lighting up. Okay, here's the third car. And the light reflection is going to begin at 3:58.12, which is in 5 seconds. So here we go. Watch the upstairs floor 3 window at the 12-second mark. Now watch right down here. There it is. Okay, so that was 0.6 seconds between the end of this flash and the beginning here. Now at the beginning, I know it's hard to see when the light begins on here, but I use the magnifying glass and I can see the very early stages before it gets like this here. Okay, this is going to be Molly's car pulling up front of 1122. So it's going to be very dim.
Coming from the back.
Watch real close at 3:58.00, and it happens for about 0.8 seconds. And then the bushes will light up. I'll hone in a little closer, but they're not going to light up very bright because she actually stops in the front of 1122. So here we go. We're looking for 358.00.
Watch this.
3 seconds. Watch that top window. There it is. Now watch down here.
Right.
There it is. A little light. Now it goes
see
away.
how it just went away?
That's when she parks in front of 1122. Okay, before we get to the 420 car taking off at a high rate of speed video, let's look at this here. So at 420 and 42 seconds, you'll hear a car door close. And that happens in the first 10 frames of the 42nd second of 32 frames. So that's the first 1/3 second. Then right here at 420:43, frames 18 to 23 of 25. So that's going to be just over 1 second later. Just slightly over 1 second later, floor 3 lights up at 420:43 and 18 to 23 frames. That's 5 frames. Hopefully you can see it. Literally half a second later, the bushes light up at 420:44 and 14th frame. The bushes light up. So let's take a look at that video. This is going to be the car that leaves at a high rate of speed. You're going to be watching this. It's only going to flicker for 1/3 of a second on the 43rd second. So this is what to expect once we get going here. At 38, there's a dog bark. At 41, there's a dog bark. So all that we don't really care about. But right after that dog bark at 41 seconds, you'll hear a door close right on 42 seconds. You have to listen very closely. You can hear it, but it's dim compared to the dog bark. Then at 43 seconds,
now for what I do, I care about the dog bark because I'm putting together this master timeline to show that there is big time problems with everything that is trying to be sold in these police reports. Okay.
Bark. In the beginning of the 44th second, you can hear the car taking off. So let's go through that, and then I'll come back and we'll go over it again. So here we go. So at 38, a dog bark, and 41, a dog bark. Okay. So you see how fast it takes off. So let's go over this again, because this is the important stuff. Okay, we just heard a dog bark. Now we're going to go into 42. So listen real good for a door closing. I'll put you close to the microphone. Here we go. And that was the dog bark at 43 seconds. So we're going to go over it again. And this time, after the 43-second dog bark, if you listen real close, you'll hear the car taking off. So here we go. 41 dog bark, then door close. Okay, so at 42, you hear the car door close in the first 1/3 second. Then you saw the floor 3 headlight reflection at 420:43, which is just over 1 second difference between these two time frames. The car door closes. 1 second later, you see the reflection on floor 3. That means the car is moving. That means when you heard the car door close, that was somebody getting into the car that was already a driver in the driver's seat. There's no way anybody can get in the car and take off that fast if they're the only person in the car. Literally half a second later, that's a half a second, not even 1 second, the bushes light up. So the car is moving 1 second after you hear the door close.
Boom.
Now let's watch that again. And then I'll have something else to tell you about the dog barking.
Yeah, people could say, oh, well, are you sure that's the door closing, blah, blah, blah. You guys remember how there's that dumpster over there? I think the dumpster comes into play as well.
Okay, here we go once more. Notice there's no dog barking? The 43-second was the last dog bark. The dogs knew that car left. The next dog bark I believe it's at 42 seconds is the next single dog bark. Let's just stay here. And then one more. And that's it until 4:22:00. That's when the dog barking picks up again.
Okay, hold on.
And then one more. And that's it until 4:22:00. Once more. Notice there's no dog barking. The 43-second was the last dog bark. The dogs knew that car left. The next dog bark. I believe it's at 42 seconds is the next single dog bark. Let's just stay here. And then one more. And that's it until 4:22:00. That's when the dog barking picks up again. Let's just stay here and listen. And it just keeps going and going.
Okay, now
So
look at that timestamp. 4:22 and 13 seconds. And the dog's going crazy, right? I think it is very interesting that nowhere in the text messages, nor the next morning when they actually see Murphy coming out of the house, that would like alert you to remind you, like, oh my God, Murphy was there too, barking like crazy. Okay. Kind of like what Chris Watts did when he saw the television and saw a baby in utero, and he's like, oh, she's pregnant. Like it triggers your brain, right? No mention of the dog barking at all. Everybody knows when you get woken up and you hear a dog barking, it's the most annoying sound in the world when your neighbor's dog is barking. No mention in the text messages.
last dog bark was exactly when that car took off. Those dogs, or that dog, knew that was it. Okay, now we're at 4:17.
Or somebody just arrived.
42, which is before the 420 car takes off at a high rate of speed. Now, although there are a couple of dog barks before this point, within the last 30 or 45 seconds, not much at all, at the 47 second right here, that's when the dog starts to really bark, from 4:17:47 all the way up until 4:20:43, which is 3 minutes. You'll hear the dog barking. I'll even speed it up. And then as soon as that car leaves at 4:20:43, that's the last dog bark. You don't hear another bark until 4:21:42, which is 1 minute later. And then the dog really starts barking at 4:22:00. So
we're going to have a big old discussion about this tonight, because I want to bring a question for everybody to think about when we have this big debate tonight, which is we're missing a huge part of it. And a huge part of this is the dog cannot be behind a closed door upstairs in a bedroom. Right? Because how can a dog be barking to something that it does not see, that it does not hear, right? The dog cannot be upstairs behind a closed door. Also, Murphy knows where everybody's room is. Murphy knows where everybody's room is. Okay? Murphy knows where Dylan's room is. Murphy knows where Murphy knows where the bedrooms are. Murphy knows the house. Right? How does Dylan and Bethany not mention Murphy not one time?
listen to the dog barks here. Okay, I'm playing it back at double the speed until the car leaves in 2.5 minutes. So that dog knew when that car left. And if it would have left from behind, it would have stopped barking then. We'll just go to the 43. We'll just go to the 43.
Right there. See that? Okay. Look at 4:19 and 51 seconds. Look straight across where the white car is down there onto that house. Look at this reflection. Now you know there's a parking lot over there. What's that from? Right here. It's a vehicle down there. Lots to say, lots to say. But I'll leave you with this final part. 423, if you go and you look at the tips, they want to establish who the SUV is that's leaving at 423. Okay. And they think that they can establish it by, oh, this girl that lives there who works from 10 to 6 o'clock in the morning. She is asked questions and she's like, oh, yeah, that's my vehicle. I must have come home to let my cats out, to check on my cats, or whatever the hell she's saying. You guys, that makes absolutely no sense because guess what? The SUV would have to arrive prior to leaving at 423 to come check or let your cats out. That does not happen. That vehicle that leaves at 423 is there in that same spot when Linda Lane begins to start rolling at midnight. That car is there. So this little bowed up narrative that, oh, the girl, she was shown the video and says, oh yeah, that's my vehicle. I must have come home, checked on my cats, and then went back to work. Well, then where are you arriving with your SUV pulling up there? Do you understand how that cannot be? That can't be it. Like, that's impossible. If she had just arrived home because she works from 10 to 6 o'clock in the morning and she comes home at, are you putting, she's actually what? Molly's SUV? Like, she came home to check on her cats? No. And you can't just say this girl lied because we have never even heard the interview. We have to hear the interview. So, but what we can tell you is that she did not arrive home to then be her leaving. That is absolutely impossible. The cops would know this, you guys. This isn't, like, they're not stupid. Somebody watches us saying, oh, wait, hey, she says that she came home to let the cats out or check on her cats. Where is her SUV then arriving? Nobody's going to ask that question because it's people like the Leslie Lamans of the world that watch these videos and they don't care. But think about this. Why are you so concerned that you have to have an answer for that 423 vehicle that's leaving? And now that we know that your answer is shit, right? So who's truly leaving at 4:23? Because it ain't that girl. Not with the story that they provided that she came home to check on her cats and then left. Well, you'd have to be arriving to do that. And let me get this straight. She arrived before midnight and then, oh, I had to watch my cats for 4 hours and 23 minutes and now I can leave? No. She was working from 10 to 6. And I would hope that Aunt Taylor would find out where the girl worked, see if she has a time card. Would she have to clock out to leave? And then I'd be asking the chick, what video did they show you to tell you to say, because in that report it also says she normally parks over here. She normally doesn't park over there. So what were they showing that girl? We're going to be discussing this all tonight and breaking down a narrative that truly exposes the fact that how nobody mentions Murphy's barking. And that would be something that you would be mentioning because it was just so apparent, right? When your dog or your neighbor starts barking and the dog doesn't stop, the dog isn't barking at just nothing. If the dog was behind a door and couldn't see anything, and it's so clear that this dog, Murphy, is relatively close to the mic of the camera, right? Or I would love to hear it maybe not enhanced, but for the girls not to mention Murphy at all, it's almost like you can't mention a dog barking if you don't know that a dog's barking because you're not able to hear the dog barking. So come back, join me this evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Central Time, and a very in-depth timeline. When you break it all the way down, it's what's not there that it's so glaring that should be there. And that's, in my opinion, Murphy. And to hear Bethany say that Murphy went missing. Maddie was looking for Murphy. Dylan never says that, though. So Maddie didn't ask Dylan to help find the dog? See you tonight. Bring your debater lips, right? Again, give a nice shout out to Mark B. We'll see you back here later.